11.1.5 is introducing a new challenge mode to the game.
Let us lay waste to this
Speaking of
realm.
challenges, I challenge you to hit that subscribe button right now. That's right, Mooney, thank you for the sub on YouTube. Here's the thing. 11.1.5 is bringing a new boss rush mode, which will leave you challenging two old bosses from the game, and you can essentially keep advancing through these bosses, get the highest score possible. This system's going to be scored and everything. A lot of stuff coming with this system, including this really cool mount reward. So now this system's on PTR. We're getting our first look at what it looks like. Let's see what this new 11.1.5 challenge mode looks like.
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and the next content update for the War Within expansion, patch 11.1.5, is right now up for testing over on the PTR realms, bringing with it new content, from new Arathi invasions within Hollowfall and Ashgahead, to returning content like BFA's Visions, filled with a variety of different cosmetics, but also a ton of new rewards and more challenges. Another feature that's also going to be made available in 11.1.5 at some point in the future will be Dastardly duos, which kind of pays original homage to the Brawlers Guild from way back in the day, but it's more of like a boss rush, trash rush type of mode, where you run into the dome, blasting your way through as many enemies as possible to earn as many points.
Is there trash? So there's trash in this fight too?
As you
and I see up there. Oh, so there's the score. So he's got a live score up here, and there's a timer as well. Interesting. Okay.
And this seems to be an event that will bring players weekly cosmetic rewards for you to collect, but also a mount to unlock, a variety of different achievements for you to
X2 score, bring enemies here. What the hell?
Earn while within this event, but also an opportunity for players to get high score in order to have the bragging rights against everybody else diving into the Dastardly Dome.
So it looks like not only do you want to complete the fight, but you want to do the fight in a specific way to get the highest score. That's interesting.
Early on the PTR, I finally got a chance to dive into Dastardly Duos and collect some footage and show off exactly what the event looks like, at least in its early iterations on the PTR, and I want to share with you guys what the event is like, as well as the rewards and what the gameplay may look like in the future. Right now, everything is a work in progress, so expect some changes before the live release. As always, if you guys want to see more regular patch 11.1 Season 2 updates or 11.1.5 regular updates on the PTR, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in.
Yeah, follow Dal, he's great.
So Dastardly Duos has finally become available over on the PTR, and you know what? Just getting the PTR up and running has been a bit of an issue. The footage you'll see.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the regular servers have been an issue too. I don't know what this whole DDoS attack has been doing, but it's been breaking the fucking game. People haven't been able to log in, so it's not just PTR.
This video will be absolutely disgustingly horrendous looking, mostly because I had to turn down everything just to keep the PTR server stable. In fact, even just to log into PTR, I first need the game to crash to then load miraculously.
Nice.
So there have been a lot of issues that I've been going through, so the visuals may look a little bit less than what I enjoy showing off, but I will try at least to play out the experience and show you exactly what it all looks like.
That was the splash screen right there. Have we seen this before? Once this thing goes down, I think we saw it for a second. Yeah, okay, cooldown manager. Coming soon, Dastardly Duos, Battle the Duo, and then Return to the Depths of Madness, experience the new, horrific visions.
Play out the experience and show you exactly what it all looks like, just to show off what this event even is. Dastardly Duos is kind of like a big boss rush, trash run event mode where you get thrown into the dome, having to fight enemies with a timer of about 5 minutes or so. You can extend the timer through a variety of different tasks, and your whole point in there is to slay enemies and score up as many points as possible to then claim rewards, either on a weekly basis or rewards at the end of each run. As you slay foes, you collect points, and you can even show off that high score to other players. It basically includes a variety of hectic combat, a variety of enemies from different expansion eras, some of the familiar dungeon bosses that are constantly running at you at all times, and the more enemies you can slay and face, the bigger the score and the greater the rewards. The actual Dastardly Duos locations will be outside of Stormwind, or rather inside of Stormwind, in Orgrimmar, and right outside of Dorne.
I'm trying to pinpoint, where is this? This is on top of the tower at the entrance of Stormwind? Where is this? Oh, yeah, okay, it is. It is. It looks like it's on top of the tower at the entrance of Stormwind.
There'll be a nice little camp area where a bunch of goblins have set up a Dastardly Duo event. And there you have a variety of different NPCs, one of them that cues you into the instance of Dastardly Duos. The variety of different rewards from Dastardly Duos right now are a little bit all over the place. At least for now though, we do know that there's a weekly bonus every single time you come by. So it looks like it is meant to be an event that lasts, I believe, 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks or something along those lines. And every single week, there's a new reward for you to earn. One of them being...
It would make sense 8 weeks. That's typical patch cadence at this point. 8 weeks is how long the patch lasts, so that's how long this event should last.
A Dastardly Duo banner that allows you to place a banner with the sigil of Dastardly Duos, but also a winner's podium. Very similar to the one that they have kind of displayed out in front of the main camp area, but it's basically a toy that allows you, I guess I can't drop it too closely, it's a toy that allows you to also put a podium out of your own. Standing on the podium, it'll actually show what your highest score is. It will rank other players with the high score. It will rank you along the podium. You can see there's like a golden reward, silver reward, bronze,
that's cool.
as well as the, I guess, 4th place and 5th place. And I'm assuming there's going to be a variety of other rewards as well over the next few weeks, but right now we can only test a limited amount of them. Besides this, we also do know that Dastardly Duos awards a mount out of this event, which is Tyranitor, a turtle mount, which is very, very similar
really
to
cool.
one of the, I think it's Arcadian turtle from Legion, or maybe one of the turtles from the Trading Post, but it's a very, very familiar model, but it has more of this albino turtle look to it. And in fact, Dastardly Duos has its own achievement section where you have a variety of these bonuses that don't necessarily award you any points, but this will be some of the achievements that you can unlock during the main event. Besides this though, at the end of a run of an event, you also get a treasure chest, and inside can either be veteran track or champion track gear. You also get a bonus satchel every time you complete one of these events, and in there I've been able to get a variety of mostly warbound items that are cloth based, though not all of them. I've got the plate item.
Okay, that's a plate item. Interesting. That's good. Yeah, a bunch of warbound gear. Even if you've outgeared this event, that means this is a great way to, you know, gear out your alts.
Missing Diplomat's pauldrons for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why or why not. And also another thing to note is technically you can't collect mogs with these pieces. These don't seem to be sets from newer expansions or anything brand new, but rather like a repurposed version of some of the Wrath, Kata, TBC, vanilla era type of rewards, as well as cosmetics that you can obtain from the Dastardly Duo event. But potentially this could also be nice catch-up gear for any of your old characters, although I feel like the warbound gear should probably be turned up to at least champion track in order to make gearing your alts, I think, that much easier, at least in my personal opinion.
Sure.
The actual event is quite interesting. It's very, very similar to Brawler's Guild from the original version. If
Right, that's what this reminded me of, like a Brawler's Guild slash, you know, what's it called? Like Underpin, or you know, like those kinds of challenge modes that we saw before. It's like what's it called? Mage Tower slash what's it called? Brawler's Guild. Mage Tower Brawler's Guild combination. That's what you get.
Or played any variation of Brawler's Guild from previous expansions, but instead of you fighting just a single boss, it's actually like back-to-back challenges that all happen very, very rapidly. You first spawn into a prep room for the actual Dastardly Duos event, and that event room allows you as a solo player to either group up with dungeon NPCs, very, very similar ones you'll be able to find within follower dungeons, or this is an opportunity for your pre-made group to figure out what kind of a composition you're going to be running, who's the tank, who's the healer, who are the DPS, and what kind of a combination you're going to be playing into this event. As a solo player, the fact that you have access to NPCs, I think it's quite interesting, but you can also dismiss them if you're looking for a pure solo challenge.
Dismiss
Once
the
you're
NPCs.
in the prep room, you also have a couple of...
If you can do that, which I guess you can, I hope there's some kind of achievement for soloing it, because that'd be kind of cool. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to dismiss the NPCs.
You also have a couple of tables. One of them has food, and the other has potions for you to grab
Oh,
up.
nice. Buffed
From the
up,
food
yeah.
table, right now, there's only 2 types of food available, and likely more to be added in the future. We have things like a beefy burger, which gives you 30% more damage, and makes you take 30% less damage, which makes it a little bit easier for you to kill enemies and not die while in combat. Then you also have a challenging shrimpy fish, which actually makes you do 20% less damage, take 25% more damage, so that food can actually make you weaker, but it increases your score that you get from kills and surviving within the Dastardly Duos. So it's more...
Okay, so the harder you make the challenge mode, the higher you can push your score. That's kind of cool. I wonder if Blizzard's going to keep like this public scoring system. It'd be really, really cool if at the end of the season they treated it like a gladiator title, where like, you know, the top 1% or whatever it is of scores gets some type of mount reward or some type of title reward. That would make this infinitely better, because then it creates like this really competitive environment towards the top end at least.
Of a challenge food in order to collect higher score within the actual rounds. The potion section has 3 vials, at least for the time being. A vial of healing that regenerates health every 2 seconds, a can of amps for 50% more movement speed, and a bottle of invisibility, which allows you to start the round invisible. But it seems that the potion breaks on damage as soon as you do anything, so it seems to be less
So what would be the point of that?
And then from there, a timer starts of 5 minutes for you to defeat the challenge, where inside of the dome you will slay mobs as well as decorations, which will feature a variety of different casters and melee enemies, very familiar foes if you ever played through vanilla TBC or even some of the Cataclysm dungeons. And after some time, bosses begin to spawn. I usually got 2 bosses unless I was able to summon a 3rd one, which I'll talk about in a second, because you can use items within Dastardly duos, but 2 bosses, familiar encounters, spawned at the same time, and you kind of get to experience those fights side by side. Also utilizing some of the older dungeon bosses from vanilla, Cataclysm revamps of dungeons, as well as the TBC variations of boss dungeons. You also get to blow up.
So what I'm trying to understand here, though, is okay, he's a DPS, so he's got a tank holding aggro. There's probably going to be like an easiest way to do this. Like if you know, it's easier for DPS than tanks or whatever, or easier for healers because they get the other. It depends, I guess, on how these NPCs are going to run. Now they're probably the same exact NPCs that we see in follower dungeons, but how survivable are they? Like, do you have to worry about survivability? Do you have to do things to keep the tank alive? All that stuff's going to matter.
And when you do that, you discover little bombs. Keeping those bombs near enemies allows them to build up a bar, and once they do, they create this spotlight zone, and keeping enemies in the zone allows you to earn additional points. So it's something that you will have to maintain and manage while still participating in the fight. And with you given only 5 minutes to do everything, you have to...
It looks like to defuse this bomb, they got to bring mobs into the circle, because the little score on the bomb keeps going up every time they kill something in the circle.
Everything very quickly in order to position things accordingly.
Or they do
like
damage
I mentioned
in the
earlier,
circle.
you could also use items inside of the Dastardly Duo event. I was able to use things like a burner clock to add 30 seconds to the timer to make sure that the timer doesn't elapse before I'm able to finish the challenge. There's also a bullhorn of calling that allows you to summon an additional boss into the encounter.
Oh, that's what this is. That's what that X2 score. Bring enemies here. The bomb's gone, so you get more score if you're killing them in the... Okay.
And I was able to go from a 2-boss encounter
Killing
into
him in
a
the circle.
3-boss encounter really quickly, getting that one ogre boss from the revamped version of the Dead Mines dungeon. You can also use a master key that lets you operate one of the...
Interesting comment. Maybe a prototype for making their own Mythic Plus scoring system. Yeah, that's right. I mean, well, they have a Mythic Plus, but we have our own... We have the IO in-game. So, like, it would be a separate score outside of your IO. Instead of a rating, it'd be a scoring system. Could be.
Occupied vehicles in the dome.
Maybe a rating scoring system.
Only saw 2 vehicles, one of them being a pyro machine, which I think is meant to be some kind of a vehicle that lets you do damage, but it doesn't seem to be super consistent and doesn't really seem to do too much. It has 2 firework theme based abilities, one of them to pull enemies together, and I believe the other is to shoot fireworks and do damage, but I couldn't really get it to work super well.
Yeah, so you mean rating, not Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus has an internal scoring system, all right. Yes, a rating scoring system would be an interesting thing if they ended up implementing this kind of stuff on there, where basically you get a higher score for doing raid mechanics properly, which parsers don't do, so they would have low scores. That'd be great.
The other is a score bonus Zeppelin, and all you can do is move that Zeppelin to different areas, and the Zeppelin always has a spotlight under it. Enemies within the spotlight of that Zeppelin will allow you to earn additional points, and the only thing you can do with the Zeppelin is move it around and leap out of the Zeppelin when you need to. So you kind of want to, I think, position the Zeppelin in a good spot where you'll be able to group up a bunch of enemies, maybe stack it together with the zone created by those bombs in order to maximize your points gained during the encounter. And for the rest of the encounter, you just...
I can imagine Slappy Hands or Death Grip being really good to bring enemies into this circle.
Defeating waves of enemies, waves of bosses, and overlapping boss encounters at the same time. And at the end of the run, you get to see your score for the run, which gives you more points based on how many enemies you're slain, how quickly you completed the round. But you also get a treasure chest, which allows you to gain additional items and armor, most of it being warbound gear. Afterwards, you get to go back to the main duo starting area or the main camp area in Orgrimmar, Stormwind, or outside of Dornogal, and you can talk to the NPC to get your weekly reward from the Dastardly duo quest. In order to collect a variety of different toys that I've been able to collect so far, at least for the first 2 rounds of the first 2 quests that are available on the PTR. With that being said though, for now it is very difficult to properly test this event. It does seem, you know, PTR being very, very buggy for me. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that's experiencing these issues though, but I tried to test it out as best as possible and run it as many times as is available to me to test out all the rewards that are available, at least in day 1. But it seems right now in PTR you can only experience a handful of these challenges. Like, you can test out how they function, but not all of them are functionally here, not all of them are fully functionally stable, and not all of the rewards are in as of this moment. But I imagine with some of the different boss encounters, these challenges can really start to add up over time, especially when you start to get thrown in some of the more difficult dungeon bosses, as some of the Kata, Vanilla, and Wrath bosses really don't seem like they do too much.
Also, I believe that the amount of bosses is going to be time gated. If I remember reading the blue post about this correctly, like the first week only 2 bosses will be available, and then they'll add 2 more the second week, and it'll keep going. So early on, your score will only, like, there's a cap to how high you'll be able to push the score, whereas towards the end of this season, I guess you can call it, not the season of Mythic Plus, but the season of this thing, you'll be able to push your score even higher.
There's not too many bad overlapping mechanics in order for you to really adjust and make some moves and plan defenses and really make you think and make changes to your strategy. But there's a lot of potential for them to be able to really mix it up with the right bosses. And I would even love to see some of the more complex fights and maybe even some raid bosses added in there. And based on what I've been able to test with this experience, it seems like this mode has a lot of potential for a bunch of catch-up gear for all of your ults.
Oh, for sure, that's what it looks like, yeah.
Dropping. Even if you do this event on your main, this could be an opportunity for you to catch up a bunch of new characters in order to get them kickstarted for Season 2 content. I also like the ability for players to be able to play this at their own convenience as solo by giving them a bunch of dungeon NPCs to party up with. But I imagine the...
So what's the score made up of? Oh, so you get... what the hell is this thing? A mechanic thing? So you get a DPS score? What is this, a healing score? Or a live score? Okay, well, the thing is, though, the DPS score would be shit if you're a tank, compared to if you're running as
pre-made
DPS.
Player groups are probably going to be a little bit more efficient at this event, but especially when it comes to maximizing the amount of points you can get from Dastardly duos. But with that being said, as always, I don't want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy this PTR update. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. I would very much appreciate it. Join our Discord community, probably the best place to keep up with all the newest patch notes and changes, cool, whether it's for PTR or whether it is for live Season 2 Realm updates. Also, let me know what you think about this new boss rush mode coming out in 11.15, and what other changes would you want to see for this mode in the future. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.
Yeah, this seems like something Blizzard added as part of like their initiative to kind of make every season a little bit more exciting in a way. Kind of like a Plunderstorm thing where it shows up for, you know, a short window of time and then it's gone with a patch, you know. So this is probably another like 8-week event. You're going to go in, do these bosses quickly, and then it'll go away and it'll come back again down the line, couple months from now, whatever. And some other patch where they need some additional content, they'll be like, yep, let's throw this back in there, give us some new bosses, and do this all over again. The scoring system looks interesting. I do wish, as I said, that they had some kind of ranking at the end. I just think that creates a much more... I don't know, it'd be like something that people really keep up with, like Gladiator, where they want to see where people are lying, and then, you know, people will get titles and mounts based on where they finished in the scoring, and especially like a top 1%, that'd be like bragging rights, you know, like I'm a Season 1 Gladiators. People still say that kind of shit. They could say I'm a Season 1 Duos, you know, Gladiator, whatever the fuck the title would be. So, cool stuff, interesting system. It's still early in the making. We'll see how it all ends up panning out.